So Passport bro goofball, I troll Passport bro finally admits that he travels for to have sex with women.
So you went to me, you look up my comments on me talking about going to other countries, right? And knocking down women. Yes, I never said I didn't. I always stated that if I travel or when I travel, I would go see women for sure, 1,000%.
Okay, all right, let's get this started. So to give you a chronological order of what's been going on, I have had this one particular guy who's been coming after me, who I thought was Carlos Red. This guy specifically sought me out, angry that Colombia is kicking out Passport bros, right?
It just doesn't add up. But now where it gets me is when you say grown women, and if a tourist go over there and pay to fuck a prostitute, that that's sex tourism.
Okay, well, let's look at the definition. It says here sex tourism is the act of traveling to foreign countries, often in the global south, specifically to engage in commercial sex activities or relationships. It involves utilizing tourism networks, I don't have my glasses on, sometimes organized by travel agencies to access sex workers with the common destinations, including parts of Southeast Asia, Latin America, and the Caribbean. And he asked me, if a person goes to Colombia for food, is it called food tourism? And I explained to him that yes, food tourism is a thing. It does exist.
If a tourist goes to Colombia and eat Colombian food, is that person called a food tourist?
Yes, food tourism does exist. That's one of the reasons why I created my channel. My channel is not an anti-Passport bro channel. Look at my channel. I talk about food. I go to different cities. I go to Manizales. I've been in La Zapata. I've been in La Buitrera. I've been in Tuluá. I've been in Cartago. I've been in Buenaventura. Okay? I have been in Barranquilla. I have been in Santa Marta. Okay? I haven't been in San Andres yet. All right? I've been in Risaralda de Caldas. I've been in Potrerillo. I'm mentioning the whole valley right now. I plan to go to Mocoa because I have a friend who's Inga Quichua. Inga Quichua. You know what Inga Quichua is? It's a tribe related to the Inca with C. She's Inga with a G, okay? He asked me if a person goes to Colombia for dancing, is it called dancing tourism?
Person comes to Colombia to look at dancing or something. Are they called dance tourists?
Yes, dance tourism does exist. There are people who travel the world to learn different dances. They are dance tourists. If you see this video here, is from my paternal side of the family, Santiago de Cali. Here is a very good example of a tourism channel that are food tourists and dance tourists. It's called Eat, Baila, Travel. Eat, Baila means to dance, travel. And they do both of those things together. They travel to different parts of the world. So he finally admits that he travels to Colombia for sex tourism, right? He is angry that the Colombian government is throwing people out. And you know what he does? This guy, he has the nerve to troll me and to tell me that I should be crying about the Colombian Civil War because supposedly the United States has had school shootings. Okay? When you do research, you will see that there has been 855 deaths from 1966 to 2025. If you look at how many deaths, how many people have died in the Colombian Civil War since 1985, 450,000. That is 500,000. And do you know when the Civil War started? 1964, and that's the current one, not the one before that extended from that. Okay, so from 1985 to 2018, you have close to 500,000 people dead, and this guy is telling me not to cry because of that. Okay, because you have school shootings in the United States is not on the same level. For those who saw my video about the bombings that happened in my city, the bombings that happened in the city of Cali, the bombings that happened in the other province called Cauca.
After the attacks last Saturday in the southwest of Colombia in the Cauca department that left 21 people dead and over 50 injured, many people are speculating and have different opinions on who might be behind this attack and why was it executed in the way that it was, injuring only innocent civilians. Presidential elections in Colombia are coming up next month, and I've seen a lot of people saying that this attack was done to influence the results of these elections. Is that true though? Let's talk about it. According to Caracol en El Tiempo, FARC militants stopped traffic on the Pan American Highway before the bomb was detonated. People sitting in that roadblock were given this flyer. The flyer talks about the FARC's mission against neo-imperialism, against the United States, and the fact that Petro talked a lot about peace, but allowed the United States to build 3 new military bases in Colombia and allowed in 3,000 U.S. troops. So the hypothesis is that this roadblock was to attract Colombian military presence so that they could detonate the bomb and target the military. But due to other attacks in the region, the military did not show up in time and the bomb detonated, only injuring civilians. I posted a video about this recently and I saw a lot of comments with different opinions. People were saying that this is the responsibility of the right, that they want to get a right-wing president elected, so they're creating terror and danger to show that this leftist president is not doing his job. And a lot of people say, yeah, Petro's being way too lenient with these militias, and that's why we're seeing so much more violence in the country today, and we need different leadership. So the FARC did publish a flyer claiming responsibility for this attack and attempting to apologize for taking the lives of 21 people and injuring over 50. They said it was a mistake, that their only targets are military, and that in war mistakes happen and innocent civilians are the ones who get caught in the middle, and that there needs to be a solution to end this war. They claim that they're a political group fighting for a political cause, and that the solution must be a political one. The typical story that they always say. So Colombia has always been very politically divided. Elections are always very sensitive, very tense. So we'll see how this continues, and I'll keep you guys updated.
Because I live in a different province called Valle del Cauca, you see a huge crater on the ground. When you do your research, you'll see that Colombia has had tens of thousands of child soldiers. So I thought it was 10,000. When I searched, it was more than that, 16,000. And then other sources are saying that the FARC, which is the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia alone, has 18,000 child soldiers. 18,000 in just them alone. That's not counting the other guerrilla groups like the ELN, which is the National Liberation Army. That's not counting the Maoist Liberation Movement of the EPN. There's a lot of militia groups out there in Colombia that has had forced child soldiers. And they'll put one kid, 11 years old, all right? They'll give him a uniform, they'll give him a Kalashnikov and have him marching up and down the mountain and radio in if anything happens. And you know what happens? The military will come in, they will see him and they will delete him, thinking he was a military soldier. Children as 11 years old, as young as 11 years old. Close to a 500,000 people have died from just 1985 to 2018. And the peace process was in 2016 with the largest guerrilla group. Not counting that it started in 1964. That means that you have way more than that. But wait, there's more. If you do research, you will find that the Colombia has one of the highest percentages of landmines in the world. Literally, more than Vietnam. And it still has millions of landmines still out there. Okay? There are still people getting hurt just walking on it accidentally, and it happens in Colombia as well. Do you know who beats Colombia in terms of landmines? Afghanistan. And you get people like him who admitted on his last video that he is a sex traveler, and that he said that he goes to knock down mangoes, okay? Mangoes. He's calling us mangoes, which is a racial epithet. When you dehumanize somebody to a food, then that's pretty much racism. And then he wants to say that us Colombians are racist for not allowing people who are traveling to Colombia for sexual travel. You just admitted it. Number one, you have to remember that the vice president of Colombia is a black Afro-Colombian woman, darker than you. And she stated when she was in Cartagena, because you're putting pictures of Cartagena, she went to Cartagena and she said, we do not want sexual tourists and men who exploit women and children. He tries to divert it by saying, oh, he's not going in for little kids. It's not about just the kids. It's about exploitation of women. It is exploitation of women, and not just the women, because adult services workers are not just women only. They are also men and transgender. We're trying to avoid the exploitation of women and children, exploitation of workers. And then he wants to sit there on his channel and complain, saying that the Colombian government is racist and that they're getting rid of people like him because of his skin color. Okay? You just admitted that you are a sex tourist online. I'm going to make sure that Immigration Colombia hears about this, because they're looking for people like you. How did such an ignorant person like you ever come into the country? I have absolutely no idea. You cannot compare a full-out war when you have different militia groups that are able to literally have tanks, hijack tanks, shoot down airplanes, and some of these people have to be hunted down by AC-130s. And then you want to tell me, oh, pipe down, stop crying because we have school shootings? And on top of that, you have had 8 million people that have been displaced from their homes. 8 million people have been displaced from their homes. Out of all the people that I've met in terms of ignorance, like, he takes the cake. Entitled and ignorant that you are. We don't want people like that in Colombia. I'm sorry. And I'm going to make sure that the Colombian government is aware of who you are, where your channel is, and what you're saying. Because We don't want sexual exploiters coming to our country. So, hey, Venezuela is opening up. Maybe you can go there.